Welcome to the Real Journey of the Entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. It's my own, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.
Welcome to our 4th annual Full Circle Business Project.
This room is small enough but big enough that you can connect with someone. And that is the intention of the Full Circle Business Brunch experience. Being in business is not a competition. We all can win at all levels.
We come from a lot of poverty. How do you break out of a scarcity mindset as a small business?
If you keep it positive, positive will always keep you. The idea that I'm always broke, I never have enough money. You can easily say, I don't have enough money yet. And that changes how you then move forward with your next financial decision.
I'm here to help educate you all on things that you may not have known about, because we find that there's a lot of suffering that goes on when people don't know about stuff.
When you're entering into a business relationship, it's still a relationship. So you want to maintain a good rapport with whoever it is that you're transacting with. You're hiring an attorney to not only protect you, but to also be the bad guy in certain situations.
We can help you connect to people who are looking for jobs. We have 200,000 people in our job bank. We're here to help the businesses out there. We're doing really the heavy lifting in our economy.
This is my 4th time attending this event. Each year it gets better and better. And it's really inspiring to see what she's doing for the community and working with the youth.
Why I wanted to start my business is because my mom was working too hard, right? I want to have my own business, my own clothing to wear on the street.
This is an amazing, amazing event with lots of knowledge for business owners, business starters, and just who's thinking about getting in the industry. Hope this continues to be an annual event for those who want to learn more about business and get into the business space.
Thank you for being a part of this transformational experience.
A brighter day tomorrow will bring. Oh.
Well. Greetings, folks. Welcome to another episode of the Real Journey of Entrepreneurship. I am so glad that you're able to join us today. And guess what, friends? I'm not alone. I am not alone, because I'm bringing along another courageous soul who is going to be sharing her process in entrepreneurship, and also how we are to take care of ourselves, because it's only one body that we have. And guess what? I'm excited. I hope you are excited too. Welcome to another episode of the Real Journey of Entrepreneurship, the podcast. This story tells about the struggles and the mindsets and the breakthroughs behind founders who are creating change in their lives and also impacting others. I am your host and also the founder and CEO of 11375. And today's guest is going to be teaching us about intentional living and focus, right? But also how personal transformation help to heal her soul, right? I know you're going to be into this one, right? If you're not, I am. I know I am. But before I bring on my guests, right? So for those who are watching via video, you did see bit of snippets of the 4th annual Full Circle Business Experience. And guess what's coming, friends? Saturday, March 21st, 2026. It's going to be in Harlem, New York. The Full Circle Biz Experience is coming to New York. It's coming to Harlem, friends. So save your dates. Look out, check out the website for ticket information because I would love to see you in the room. And we are going to be unpacking on March 21st, which is a Saturday, the importance of really getting business compliant, right? So for those who have been in the rooms, the virtual rooms or in person with me, I always highlight the importance of ensuring that your business is compliant so that you can gain access to opportunities. But also, we are going to be connecting the dots on how do you stack funding resources and tapping into multiple financial institutions and also CDFIs or community development financial institutions to fund your dreams. And you don't want to miss it. So come on out. Saturday, March the 21st is the Full Circle Business Experience designed specifically for entrepreneurs and created with you in mind. A level of intentionality to support small businesses in the ecosystem. So I say all the time that I have the best seat in the house. Why? Because I get to interview courageous entrepreneurs who are willing to guide us through their process of learning, approach in health and wellness. And my guest is no different. So I know you love seeing me, but I'm going to just bring on my guest. Hey, Miss Wright. Hey, Mrs. Wright.
Hey, Anita.
How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Thank you. So welcome to our space. So I'm going to just have you share who you are, what you do, and how you're making impact within this space. Let's start with the easy stuff.
All right. So I am Fostena Wright. I am a life and health coach, and I function in functional nutrition, basically just helping people be aware of how their body function with food. And I help people to get their health goals accomplished, whether it's losing weight, whether it's getting off medication, or just getting some form of health goal to be actually sustainable in their life.
Okay, so right about now, you talking about me. So tell us about how did you get started in this area of coaching? Where did it begin specifically for you?
Well, actually, I had a life coach years ago, and she really helped me to get my life in order and actually knowing what to do as far as my business. And because of that experience, I'm like, you know what? I could do this too. So I went into life coaching, and God has just given me a grace to always see solutions instead of seeing just a problem. But when I had my own personal experience with a diagnosis, and I asked my doctor, you know, what can I do if I don't want to take medication? And he looked at me, Anita, and then he gave me a list of things not to eat. And then I realized that if food caused me to have this condition, then food can help me to reverse it. And so from that point, I went on doing some research with natural remedies. And a year later, I went back, did the blood work. Everything was normal. So then that's when I began to incorporate. This was around COVID as well, around 2021. So then I also went back and got certified to be a functional nutrition counselor. And I incorporate the health format into the coaching. So my framework for my coaching program is the ABCs of health. It's awareness, behavior, and consistency. And so that's why I actually incorporate that just for life and also for health, because it's interchangeable, right? And health is our wealth, right? So we can't have life without good health, right? And health is holistically your mind, body, and spirit.
All right, I'm trying to see how I could hold myself accountable through this conversation because I feel like it's going to be really good. So at the time of us having this conversation, we're at the top of 2026, where most people have health goals. They want to make, they want to make changes to their eating. I wanted to start off the bat. What are the challenges that you note with mindset, right? Because I believe that mindset is everything, right? But specifically as it relates to our food intake.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's definitely what we think and what we've been taught, right? So there's some things that we have to unlearn and relearn. And herein lies the challenge, right? So I think education is very imperative, right? So that's where the awareness comes in for the ABCs of my framework, right? You have to be aware, right? You have to pay attention to your body. When you get that ache or you get that pain, that's your body giving you a signal something is off, right? And sometimes we want to treat the symptom and not the root, right? So our mindset has to be aware of what's happening and not just ignore signals and signs, and realize that it's a process as well, because health isn't just about being perfect, right? In what we eat or being skinny, because skinny is not the goal. The goal should never be skinny. It should be healthy. Because I have clients that are skinny and their A1C is off the chart, right? So it's not always about being skinny. It's about being healthy. So the mindset has to shift. You have to be aware of what's happening in your body. And then comes the B side of it. Your behavior shifts, right? What are you thinking about? Are you eating for comfort? Are you eating for stress, right? Are you eating because that's all you have to eat in your cabinet, right? So also being consistent as well, right? Not just going on a diet, because diets don't work. Even the word diet has the word die in it, right? Diets don't work. So what I teach is a mindset shift and knowing how to actually realize your metabolism and what works for you. So it's all about individuality as well, because what may work for me may not work for you, right? Like I'm plant-based. That works for me. That may not work for all of my clients, right? So it's all about your mindset, being aware and knowing that I must do something different to get a different result.
All right. So I want to unpack, because you mentioned that you do have a plant-based lifestyle. Were you always plant-based?
No, actually, I am originally from Jamaica, not Jamaica Queens, Jamaica the island. Right. So in our culture, we do have veggies and stuff, but we eat a lot of red meat and a lot of starches, the rice and peas, the oxtail, the carbogoat, all that good stuff. Right. And, there's nothing wrong with that. Right. But in moderation. Right. So for me, my levels were always off, like, just like off. And it wasn't until I had that health scare that I realized that, I have to do something different. And I went on a fast. And after my fast for 8 days, I went into plant-based eating. It's been like 6 years now. And I lost 30 pounds because I was clinically obese. Anytime you're 20 pounds over your original weight that you should be for your height, you're considered to be clinical obese, right? So I was 30 pounds overweight. And when I lost the weight, that also helped with the conditions that I was struggling with as well. So I gradually began to actually implement what I did for myself with my clients. Now, not all my clients are plant-based, right? But I tell them at least one day out the week, go plant-based, right? Whether it's a salad or a protein smoothie, but one day out the week, go plant-based.
All right. So you mentioned smoothies, right? And I know that you're an author, not just a coach, you're also an author. could you share about your process? Because I know that you have a book that provides support for smoothies, right? So we all like smoothies. Now, I'm not talking about the stuff that we get, you know, when we go to certain locations and it has like ice cream, dairy, and things like that. And they say it's what is it, like a liquid diet or a smoothie, right? Can you share some resources from your book and share how that could be supportive to us?
Yeah. So what happened was, let me give you the tea. I used to make like my own plant-based smoothies, right, with things that are going to be conducive for health, like seeds and nuts for the protein, good fats like avocado and veggies and fruits. And I will post it on my Instagram, and everyone kept asking me, "Oh, I need your ingredient. I need your ingredients." So what I did was I did a 30-day smoothie of recipes that people could actually incorporate, and whatever they don't like, they could always substitute. And then I created a list of what they can actually have to have a complete balanced smoothie, whether as a meal replacement or just, to be on the run to go. So the book I have is called A Smoothie for the Day. You could do it as an individual challenge yourself or do it with a community. And it works best for the community because you'll be accountable to others. But the book gives you the breakdown of.
Can we see the book? Can we see the
sure.
book?
This is the book.
A smoothie
It's called A Smoothie for the Day, and it's the practical guide to a 30-day smoothie challenge. So the book gives you a complete breakdown of what blender that you should get, different types of blender, the different types of plant-based protein, because sometimes people think, oh, I can only have, powder or whatever. No, you could get it from the natural source. And if you can't have nuts because of allergy, you can have a seed like pumpkin seed, hemp seed, flax seeds, chia seeds. And it also tells you what types of fruits you could have, because all fruits are not equally created, right, with sugar. Some sugars are higher than others. So the book gives you a list of the glycemic index of the fruit. Like, for instance, apples are low on the glycemic index. Apples, blueberries, pears, they're low in sugar. So the book gives you a list of the sugar in the fruits, high and low. So you can make a decision of what to put in your smoothie, and also types of veggies, and also the different types of liquids that you can use. You could use water as a base. You could use almond milk, coconut milk, unsweetened, of course. And then the book gives you a actual breakdown of how to create your own smoothie, gives you the recipe, and also in the back, it gives you a journal of what you ate. So you could take notes, you could put what you liked, what you did not like. So it's just a practical guideline of how you can do this. And sometimes I realize that people, they do better when they're doing it together. So every year, since I published this book, we do a smoothie challenge, and we just completed the one in January. And there's been so much different testimonies. People lost weight. People shifted their palate. People are now more conscious of what they're eating and realize that they don't have to have 3 meals a day, right? A smoothie could be a meal replacement. So this is what I incorporated, because I realized that people, they need to have a form of, I would say, practical steps. Not to say eat healthy, right? What does that mean, right? They need practical steps, and they need to be educated.
So you essentially are walking us through a very realistic process of how we can provide nourishment and also heal our bodies, right? So I wanna bring it down, like when I mean way down, because I'm thinking about the community resident that may not have the type of blender that you're recommending, as an example, or they may not have access to go to some of the places where they can get organic or, types of vegetables. They may only have Dollar Tree or Family Dollar in their community. How do you support those individuals to be able to maintain or to even start to think with the mindset shift that this is the only body that I have, right? How do I take care of it on a very, let's say, limited budget? How do you do
Yeah, and
that?
even when you said that, it just clicked to me too, because at the end of the day, when there's a will, there's a way, right? So I believe also education, being aware, all right, that there's things that you can get that can be also cost effective. And guess what? I shop at Dollar Tree too. I get my frozen blueberries from Dollar Tree, right? And I get my oatmeal from Dollar Tree as well, right? So there's many ways that you could get things that are cost effective. You could go to actual farmers market. You can go to the campaign for hunger. There's always resources out there for us to get things that we need if we look for it and if we are aware that these things exist. And there's also knowing how to prioritize what comes first, right? Because your health is your wealth, right? You can have all the money in the world. You can have no money in the world, right? But the thing is, there's always a way. There's always a will, but you have to will it, if that makes sense. I know that's like a word salad, but when there's a will, there's a way, right? So there's always a way that you could get something. You could go to a retail store in the neighborhood. You could find a regular blender. Like I say that you could get a NutriBullet that costs like $90, right? But you could get a blender for like $19.99 at Bargain Hunter, right? So when there's a will, there's a way. It's just being aware that the way does actually exist.
So I'm glad that you provided real and practical, because there really isn't, when you start to recognize your value, starting with your temple, your body, right? Again, we only have one, unless someone can tell me that there's another body swap or a double happening somewhere.
Right.
It's only one right now. So I appreciate you just sharing, like, very realistic, because a lot of times, especially with cost of food, it varies, right? So, but I want to also pull from what you mentioned about farmers market and how I feel that that's the most underrated asset that exists within communities. So they have, like, what I call urban gardens, that there are farmers, specifically Black farmers, that they pop up in Harlem, they pop up in the five boroughs, and they're providing organic and also quality food that will help you, that are reduced from the chemicals and the harshness that we typically may see. Do you mind sharing your experience by going to farmers markets and some of the practical things that we can select, specifically if we're on a budget and we're looking to create healthier choices?
Yeah, so definitely, we know that farmers market only operates certain times of the year too, right? So you want to get some greens, right? You could always freeze your greens as well. You could freeze your fruits as well, right? Bananas you could freeze as well. Just chop it up and put it in hopefully it's BPA-free container. And you could freeze your fruits as well and your veggies, right? So that you could have it so it doesn't perish faster, right? And you can also try to get foods that you can actually use out of season as well. And so sometimes you may not be able to go to a farmer's market. You could try to go to the campaign of hunger. There's lots of resources out there. You could just Google different organizations, faith-based organizations. They have food pantries. So there's always a way to get some form of resources at your disposal. But the farmer's market, you want to get your greens, your fruits, and if you cannot eat it right away or make a smoothie right away, you could always freeze it.
I think folks be forgetting about the freeze, the storage, and how you can, because I'm always reminded of the fact that sometimes we may buy food that is prepackaged and frozen or pre-made, and we can collectively do that for ourselves, preparing meals at home and also freezing them, for another day. So I appreciate those practical tools. But I want to return back to your coaching practice. And I want to get into, I know you talked about mindset earlier, but I really want to have you share, without naming a client, about some of the emotional blocks that you have come across from your experience in working with clients. How do you have them move past it?
Well, what I first do with all my clients is give them a SMART goal assessment, because you can't say to me, oh, I want to eat healthy, right? What does that mean, right? So we always start off with a SMART goal assessment to see where they are, what their goals are, and they have to be, specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and time sensitive. One of my clients I'm working with now currently, I started working with her last October, and she was over 200 pounds. And from working with her, her goal was to lose 50 pounds. And today she's down by 30 pounds, 35 pounds now. So it's a mindset shift that people have to take to understand that it's not going to be something instantaneous, right? It is a process. And I think sometimes that is a challenge people have. They want things to be instantaneous, right? And that's not realistic, right? Because it didn't take you 5 minutes to put the weight on, right? It took years, right? So it's going to take some time to unlearn some things and relearn some things. And what I do with my clients, they have to give me a food intake every day to see what they're eating, to see their mood, and to see if they're actually going to the restroom. Because if you're eating twice a day, you should be going to the bathroom twice a day, right? Your bowel movements, right? So what I assess is what you're eating, if it's affecting your mood, if you're feeling lethargic, if you're feeling cranky. Food also affects your mood, right? Food is fuel, right? And so for that particular client, I had to help her because she was addicted to sugar. And sugar is the devil, okay? Sugar is worse than crack cocaine. Can I say crack cocaine? But sugar is very addictive. And the thing about it is that these manufacturers, they know this, all right? So they put things in our foods that are going to make us more, I would say, addictive to these foods. And back in the days, we just had regular sugar, right? And ketchup. Now we have high fructose corn syrup, all these syrups, right? Why do we need all these syrups, right? So at the end of the day, I had to help her to wean off sugar. So detoxing, being accountable with her food intake has helped her to also realize that for her to get her goals, she must do something different. So it's a process. And I think sometimes when people, they don't see results right away, they could be discouraged, right? So part of my framework is also to not just give you information, right? But to also follow up with you, check in with you, and give you the tools that you can do practically on your own.
So I want to say that I have never tried crack or cocaine, but I can tell you
Me neither.
that sugar is you're right. It is connected to evil, right? And I want to just share, if I may, some of the things that I've had to do, because my food journey is based upon my child right now, because we recently got awareness that she has allergies to everything, it seems, right?
Wow.
And so we've eliminated dairy for years now, except when we want ice cream, right? And I'm being honest, right? When we want ice cream, we find ice cream shop, not the store, because we don't buy anything store-bought anymore. We find an ice cream shop that hand makes their ice cream. And it does somewhat make a difference, but we don't do that all the time. But dairy, sugar, forget about it. It shifts your mood. You can be fine 1 second after you have, said chocolate or whatever it is, and it's like you're a monster. Like I'm talking about me. I'm talking So I've had to not buy it, right? But then to your point about when we're buying product in supermarkets or farm, places where we shop, I have become and now teaching my daughter to read the ingredients.
Yes.
Everything has some sort of crose in it. And I'm like,
that's sugar. That's how they hide the sugars, the OSEs. Yeah.
And let me say that, and this is why I appreciate you elevating this, because a lot of times, again, we're not thinking about taking care of this temple. And it's the little things that you have to do. And I'm saying you have to do it, right? Because it will make you feel better. And the struggle is very real because, seems like the season of winter, we just want to snack and eat. Like, I don't know, it's like comfort, whatever. But I'm sharing that because I appreciate the practical tools that you're offering, because sugar is a real addiction. And so is food, right? As a real addiction. And which leads me to my next question about someone who, and we're talking specifically about food, but also connecting it to our overall well-being. How do you encourage your clients about connecting what they eat to their overall well-being?
Yeah. The thing about it is to get them to see their actual results, right? So for instance, like I said, I do require that my clients do a food intake daily, and I assess it. And that's the art of my program. I assess, recommend, and I track, right? So when they do their journal and they see that they're eating X, Y, and Z today, and today they felt cranky, or today they were constipated, they have to see the results, right? And they have to make a decision. Do I want to continue or do I want to shift, right? And it's not just about just doing this for a diet per se, right? Because diets don't work, right? It's a lifestyle modification. So that's what I teach. I don't teach getting on diets. I teach on having a lifestyle modification and what works best for you. What can you afford? What can you sustain realistically, right? And then it's actually knowing, like, for instance, if I have a diagnosis or a challenge, right, with anything that's metabolic, right? Do I want to continue to take this medication or do I want to get off it, right? So it's a matter of being aware, having a behavior shift, and being consistent. So if you don't want to, like one of my clients, I had a previous client before, she was taking blood pressure medicine and she was getting lots of side effects. And I began to help her to eat the foods that are going to be fueled with potassium, because that helps to regulate the heart, and other things like beans and avocado, right? And I gradually had her wean off her medication with the help of her doctor as well, because you don't want to be, here's a caveat, you don't want to just stop taking medication, right? That's not good either, right? You have to have a profession that's going to help you to gradually wean off the medication. So it's a matter of what you want to do for your life. Do you want to continue to be out of breath when you go up the steps? Do you want to continue to take a medication, a pill that has a side effect? Or do you want something that's going to help you to actually heal and not just mask the symptom?
I feel seen right now. I really feel seen. I feel
No,
seen.
we listen and we don't judge.
But no, this is the reason why I love, part of this aspect of what I do is because I too am a student. I become the student of the guests, right? But I want to ask you a question, more specifically about your business operations, right? Because being in the coaching business, right, is one that is not for the weak. Being an
Amen.
entrepreneur, what I have discovered is connected to my overall personal growth. It becomes more spiritual for me, right? And I have been held accountable by this dream that has been imparted to me, that I have the courage to now do through 11375. And I say it like that because when I have things that are in my soul, it's not for me to keep to myself and just put it on the vision board and keep it there. It challenges me to step out, right? So let's talk about coaching. What does that look like for you and your business? Like, what are some of the biggest challenges that you've experienced, not from the client perspective, but just about growing your business, and what has it now taught you at this point?
For me, some of my challenges that I've had is visibility and marketing. And I'm working with now business coaches. I had a great session yesterday with you, and he really helped me also to unpack some things. And also I'm in some business cohorts as well that's given me the education that I need also to continue to scale my business. And also I find that also getting clarity of what my niche looks like. Because like I said, I'm plant-based, right? But I can't make everyone be plant-based. So I was looking for people that's gonna come and to be plant-based like me, and I help them to transition like how I did. But I realized that the bulk of my clientele has been people that want to lose weight, or people that are having metabolic issues, like whether it's high blood pressure, diabetes. So also faith-based organizations, because sometimes I think we over spiritualize things, right? Yes, God is a healer, but you have the responsibility after he heals you to take care of your temple. Stop eating that Twinkie. Stop eating that burger. Stop eating those fries, soda. I'm not speaking in general, right? It's God's responsibility to heal us, right? But then we must take care of our temples. So I find it challenging as well, dealing with sometimes the aspect of people, they over spiritualize things and they don't want to take the stewardship. So those are my things that I'm working on right now, how to navigate through those symptoms of not feeling discouraged as well, because I know that what I have is going to be helpful for others, right? So visibility, marketing, and really knowing and honing into who is my clientele.
All right, so I'm gonna do a comma and. Why did you have the courage, right, to participate in, because you mentioned that you're in a cohort of other entrepreneurs and that you tapped into mentorship or coaching as a resource? Because sometimes when we have experience, we know it all, or we don't. I even read someplace, and this was on the social platform, that said that small businesses should not tap into mentorship. I saw this. This was
wow.
Because mentorship, and I wanted to be like, mind your business. This is how we grow. But I wanna since this is, you had the courage to reach out. Why did you do that? Like, what made you say that? Oh my gosh, I need to. Or just walk us through that experience, because sometimes when we're looking for something, it doesn't come always initially in the ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that every coach needs a coach, right? There's always more to learn, and there's always more to unlearn, right? And I realized that for my visibility and my marketing, right, there's always room for growth, right? So I'm an avid learner. I want to learn, and I want to be better, right? I want to serve my clients better, and I want to learn more of the business aspect, how I could actually be in compliance, right? Not just having a passion to help everyone, but I'm not in compliance, right? So I think it's also a matter of understanding that we are not arrived, we have not arrived, and there's always more to learn. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm in a business cohort with the EAC, and I'm going to start one next week with the Harlem Opportunity cohort with that as well.
Oh, excuse me. You fancy. You getting around.
The favor of the Lord. I got in. Yeah. I actually applied for it and I got in. So, yeah.
And so what we're talking about is what you always hear, and what I share is tapping into resources that our tax dollars already paid for. Shout out to my wraparound services, my crew at the LDC in East New York through the Entrepreneurial Assistance Center. We out there doing good work. And I'm not just a business coach there. I am also a former client.
Shout out to Benny.
I'm gonna tell you, Benny Camille, and under the leadership of Bill Wilkins, we are creating impact. And also we really do a deep dive. I can't say what other centers are doing. I know that we pride ourselves on really supporting our entrepreneurs who choose us because there's always a choice to really support you through your business life cycle. But we also require that you do the work and we walk you along the way. So that is the EAC, the Entrepreneurial Assistance Center out of East New York, under the leadership of Bill Wilkins. Shout out to the executive director there. So
yes,
enough with the shout outs, but we need to let you know that those resources out there exist. So
and I didn't know this, and I've been in East New York for 24 years, right? So I could honestly say I began this process in January, and I've learned so much, right? So I just appreciate, and I'm not trying to smother anyone with any type of gratitude, but I'm so grateful for this program and even the opportunity to be here with you today.
No, it's a good deal. And I always share the resources, but I am going to be putting up the Local Development Corporation of East New York. We are always looking to support clients on their business cycle. And, you get in, I always say it's just stick with it, like follow up, follow through. And I'm just going to plug them really quickly because we know specifically within our communities how important having an OG in your life, it matters, right? So for those who are saying that you don't need a mentor or a business coach or a crew, that's how we move in business. We need other folks to leverage, right? And I want to say leverage because we don't have to be afraid to be in these spaces. A little bit off topic, but I think that since this is a shared experience as to where we are currently, I think it's important to highlight organizations such as the LDC. And also you have other organizations such as Bach Capital that also do work similarly to the LDC as well. And again, no promotion, but these are resources that are out there. The Department of Small Business Services, it's out there, friends, right? And why I mention this, because that's how I got my start. I went through all of the free stuff. And yes, it does take time. You do, if you hop around, you do what you need to do, but these are already services that our tax dollars, or in some cases donations, pay for. So take advantage of it, friends. And I'm just going to shout out the LDC of East New York because that is one of the places where I consult. So there you have it. So back to our conversation and about what some of the practices and habits do you consider foundational for anybody who is committed to transformation. Now I'll let you define which transformation you want to land on. What are some
and I actually wrote a book about that about 4 years ago. It's called Transitions. I'll just share really quick. It's called The Process of Obtaining Wellness in Mind, Body, and Spirit. Right? So keyword, it's a process, right? So you have to be committed and know your why. Your why is very important because your why is going to motivate you. Why are you changing? Are you want to lose weight to fit in a dress for a wedding? Or is it to lose weight so that you could feel healthier? So you have less, like for instance, when I was overweight and I used to do praise dancing in my church, my back would hurt, my knee would hurt. So my pain was very excruciating for me. So I know I had to do something to lose the weight, right? So what is your why, right? Whether it's shifting your thought process, whether it's shifting your body, What is your why? Your why is going to drive you. But then you need to get structure, right? You need to have consistency. And that's why a coach comes alongside to help you, not to police you, okay? But to help you and assist you so you could accomplish your goal in the process, right? Because there's a scripture that says first the blade, the ear, the corn, right? So it's a process. Nothing happens overnight. It is a process of growth. When you plant something like the corn, you get first the blade, the ear, and then the actual corn, right? So it is a process. And we have to appreciate the process. Sometimes we may mess up, but we don't stop, right? We're not on a sprint, we're on a marathon, right? You keep going. And a coach helps you to actually recess and see what you did and what you could have better the next time. So it's all about knowing that it's a process and you don't stop, you continue to grow and learn.
All right. So I just had a thought, and I'm just going to push it out there about your why, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about immediately how I grew up. And I'm talking specifically about generational things that I grew up on, that I learned about, that I knew about, right? Because so that's all I know at the time, right? So now I'm getting in new information, whether I'm doing research or whether I am online or whatever. And one of the things that I personally find really challenging is to be able to remove or get new information and now trying that new information for the betterment of myself. It is not always easy. So I talked about the sugar jokingly. We talked about, making a connection to addiction. So I want you to, and I know we may have unpacked this, but I really want to dig a little bit deeper in that transition process, because again, this is not microwave. You put it in and it's like, we got popcorn and it's happening. I want you to talk about, and from your experience, the deep mindset shift, the maybe not watching social media, or like whatever it was. Can you really do a deeper walkthrough? Did you have to drink more water, or did you have to drink more teas in order to, let's say, for example, you had an aspiration to fit in a dress, as an example. Can you really walk us through that process? Because I know sometimes when we're talking about transformation, specifically as it relates to something that you had years of, right? This is 50 years of maybe eating beef. And all of a sudden, I now have to stop. Can you talk about maybe the temptations? Walk us through that. Like, I want it to be so real, because a lot of times, again, when we're talking about transformation, it is hard work. And then off to you.
Yeah. And even just for a coaching point, the words that we say also carry weight, right? So if we think things are hard, we're going to see things as hard, right? But if we see things as a challenge, right, then we're up for the challenge. Right. So our mindset starts with our thought process, right? Because how we think affects everything about our lifestyle, right? So if you think you can't, you're not going to do it. Right. But if you think you can, you will do it. Right. And the mind is so amazing that if you tell yourself, and if you say to yourself, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, right, your mind will find ways to do it. Right. So it's all about literally our mindset shift. Right. So being aware. So back to the framework of my coaching, you have to have the ABCs of your health, right? Be aware, your behavior shift, right? And when you catch yourself saying these negative words or defeating words, you reframe those words. Instead of say things are hard, say things are challenging, but I can, just for instance, if you're faith-based, I could do all things through Christ who strengthened me, or I've got this. I'm going to do this, right? You have to reframe your words. Very important. As a man thinks, so is he, right? As you think, so you are. And then it comes with being consistency, right? What you do daily matters. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, hence, right? Months turn into years, right? So the first step is having a mindset shift in your vocabulary. Very important. And even having words of affirmation, you can write things down, because when you write things down, as we discussed yesterday, it's a connection with your brain, right? So get daily affirmations, write it down, put on your fridge, right? I will eat healthy. Let out of mind, out of sight, right? When you go to buy your food, get a shopping list, meal prep. Don't go there just, blindsided. Be practical. Create a list of foods you're going to get. And when you get to the counter, you see that Snicker bar or that candy bar, it's not on your list, so you don't buy it, right? And that takes your discipline and consistency, right? So the first step is having a mindset shift with your vocabulary, having practical tools. For instance, if you're going food shopping, create a list of things that you need and not what you want. So if it's not in your house, you're not going to eat it, right? And it's also knowing how to substitute. Like, for instance, I used to love white rice, okay? But white rice on the glycemic index is 100, okay? That means that it spikes your blood sugar right away. So I had to substitute from white rice to brown rice, right? And then I had to add what I liked for it to taste tasteful, because sometimes people, brown rice tastes like cardboard, but are you cooking it properly? Are you putting enough water in it? Because white rice doesn't require that much water, but brown rice does, right? So adding more water to the brown rice, adding your favorite seasoning and herbs like cilantro or olive oil or coconut oil gives it a nice flavor to it, right? So knowing how to substitute also is going to help you know that I can not just disregard what I like to eat, but find a healthier way of doing things, find a healthier substitute. And there's an app that I also recommend people get. It's called the Yuka app, yuka.com. It helps you to actually scan to see what's in your food so that you could be an avid reader to see that, hey, I cannot pronounce these words. These are SAT words. These are not real food, right? And then the app gives you, it's a free app, by the way. If you have Android or iPhone, it's free, right? I have both, so I'm no team Android or team iPhone. I'm both, but it's on both that you could get. It's called the Yuka app. It gives you also a substitute of a healthier substance or a healthier food. It rates the food from 1 to 100. 100 is the best. Under 50 is bad, right? So your mindset you have to be aware. You have to be aware of your vocabulary, be aware of your daily habits, that's your behavior, and be consistent. Not from Monday to Wednesday, from Monday to Sunday, right? It's consistency. And you start somewhere, right? No one starts to climb the ladder on the top of the ladder, right? You start on the bottom. So if it's one thing that you're going to do this week or this month, whether it's drinking more water or cutting out soda, do one thing and do it consistently for 21 days. Because habits are formed within 21 days. But to sustain it, it should be done at least for 3 months. So start somewhere. If it's one thing, cutting out white products like white bread, white rice, right? Or drinking more water. Whatever your thing is, do it consistently for 21 days. You okay, Anita?
No,
I didn't cut you, right?
You know what? It's sometimes when you again, I am a student, right? So when you have like little simple reminders about how you can care for this body, and you can always restart.
Yes, it's never too late.
Never too late. So there's still hope for me. There's still hope for me.
And listen, I get my brown rice too from Dollar Tree, okay? For $1.25. And my beans.
Wow. Yeah, so there's really no excuses, friends. Like, you can find resources that meet your budget, but also to help you to be who you are designed to be, right? I believe that we say health is wealth, but I didn't really get it until like I got a little bit more mature in my life. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah, this is what we would always hear, right? And
Yes.
so it becomes, as was mentioned, your responsibility to be accountable for who and taking care of this space, right? Taking care of this thing here. But also, as we close up, which I really don't want to do this, but what are you most proud of on your journey so far?
I am most proud of not giving up, because there's times where I felt discouraged. But when I would get a text from someone that's saying, hey, I lost, 2 pounds today, or, I went to the doctor and my A1C is normal for the first time, that just gives me such great joy to know that my labor is not in vain and that lives are really being transformed, not just poetically, but literally. People's lives are being changed. People are getting back their win, their second win. I even had a client that was in her 60s, and the doctor, she had an issue with her cholesterol real quick, and they want to give her some medicine, some statins. I said, no, just cut out eating the 3 eggs a day, eat more oatmeal, stop eating at 6 o'clock. I gave her a plan for her, strategically. And in 30 days, her levels went back to normal. So things like that, just witnessing people's life change really makes me feel proud to know that this is really doable, right? It really works when people work it, right? It's not just a thing that we have to fantasize. No, you could really walk in good health and prosper, right? But it's a matter of your awareness, once again, your behavior shift and your consistency. That's my framework for the ABCs of health.
So how can people connect with you? I have your information here, website here, but tell us how we can connect with you. And please do show the books again. Don't be shy. What's offer?
I actually wrote 3 wellness books, but I'm mostly on YouTube. Fostena Life and Health Coach. I'm mostly on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Fostena Life and Health Coach. You can find me on LinkedIn as well with my name, Fostena Wright. And I do have a Facebook wellness group. It's an open group. It's called Wellness to Prosper in Good Health. I'm also on Clubhouse. I do a free teaching every other week on a different type of therapeutic food as well. So the books I have is A Smoothie for the Day. This is a practical guide to create a plant-based smoothie, and you could do it by yourself if you're well disciplined, or with a group, your church, your family, whoever, so that you could be accountable. And this is the book I have called Transitions. This is a holistic wellness book on knowing how the process of attaining wellness in mind, body, and spirit. And my most recent book that I wrote, it's called Rooted and Radiant, for those who want to learn how to eat more plant-based meals. This is a 30-day plant-based recipes for whole body wellness. Because sometimes people feel like, oh, I can't eat plant-based. Try it. You may like it. Okay. So all these books are available on Amazon. You could just put my name in, Fostena Wright, it'll pop up.
And
also my website, FostenaLifeCoaching.com. You can reach me there as well to set up a free consultation for 15 minutes to see if we are good to partner together. And if I could assist you in any way I can.
And you can also purchase directly on her website for the books. I saw that that's a direct connect. So make sure that the resources are going directly to the businesses if you can do so. So before we wrap officially, I usually do some rapid fire closing questions. They're fun, they're quick, they're one word, right?
One word, not 2. Okay, noted.
So I'm going to start to see what my track record is now. What's your favorite borough?
Brooklyn.
We're back. We are back. Brooklyn in the building. So are you a morning person or are you a night owl?
Morning.
Journaling or meditation?
Journaling.
Rest or productivity?
Rest.
Are you a planner or you do spontaneity?
Planner.
So I have a question, and this is not one word. In the next 3 years, where are you going to take your business? What are your plans?
My plans are to scale in more corporate coaching, community-based coaching and education as well. Because I believe that if people get the education that they need, they will learn how to actually shift their trajectory of their health. So I see myself also hiring more people to help me as well, because I do one-on-one coaching, I do webinars, I do workshops, but I'm by myself right now. So scaling my business to get more people to come to assist me as well.
And on that note, I am so thankful for the opportunity to have done a deeper dive into your journey. I learned more than I want to admit here, right? Because I think that we are in a space where we are supposed to be mutually beneficial, but also sometimes it's okay for the other coach to shut up and just listen, because that's what we should do. But I want to thank you for sharing your gems. And please reach out, right? Why do I say that? Because whenever I am engaging with another business owner, I think it's important that we support one another, whether it's podcasting, whether it's like, shares, or follows, right? Share the information, purchase. In this specific instance, you're dealing with a self-published author, friends. Hello, right? It doesn't hurt to be supportive in that way. But I think what was also so beautiful, and I want to thank you for it, is just sharing your personal journey about transition. So on that note, I look forward to seeing you again. Take good care, and please do not hesitate to reach out. Sending you virtual kisses.
Thank you, Anita.
All right, take good care. So friends, what did we learn today? It is super important that we take care of our mind, body, and spirits, right? And in this specific instance, we learned specifically how, in the simplest format, right? We share an example, not promoting Dollar Tree, but how if you're looking to transition or to figure out healthier solutions, that you can buy beans, you can buy frozen vegetables, and that can help you to support your transition. If that is what you are your goal and desire is, make it within budget and make it reasonable for you. So I got some additional tips and tools for myself, so I'm super excited about that. But definitely check out our guest on Instagram, LinkedIn, and also website. And the books are there for purchase. And so if there is an interest, please do support that way. But I also want to share about some additional opportunities that come up. As I mentioned, on Saturday, March the 21st, we are having our fifth, can you believe it? The fifth annual Full Circle Business Bunch experience. And I am so excited to note that it's going to be in Harlem. I'm from Brooklyn, but it is going to be in Harlem. So please, if you have the opportunity and want to come out and learn about compliance, and also learning about how you can stack different opportunities with financial institutions to build your business through CDFIs or community development financial institutions, and also commercial institutions who are really out there to help us to grow as small businesses. But we just have to be prepared and know how to access capital. So it is there, friends. It's just a matter of you navigating those specific spaces and also being able to launch in and share, grow, and build your dreams. But we also have a few upcoming events, which I hope in addition to the business brunch experience, that are open. You can come in virtually to be able to support your learning ecosystem. And I'm just going to share a QR code. We have the webinars that are accessible to those who may be interested. You can check out 11375 webinars. We try to have them Wednesdays, right? And sometimes it's during the lunch hour, sometimes it's in the evening. But if you click on the link or you scan a QR code, you will find a pathway to get to those webinars. And guess what? They're complimentary. They're complimentary, except your time. But I wanted to share that because a lot of times as we are navigating different spaces, I always like to show, specifically how and what my pathway was in gaining access to different resources. And it was through a lot of complimentary resources that exist that our tax dollars cover anyway. So on that note, I want to thank you all for taking time out of your day to join another episode of the Real Journey of Entrepreneurship. Don't forget to like, share, and follow us. We are on the platforms at 11375. And if you're interested in being courageous and wanting to share your love and book us, please, we welcome entrepreneurs from all walks who are willing to share their realness behind their journey. So friends, it's been real. I want to thank you so much. Stay safe, stay sane, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on another episode. Take good care. This week, I've been thinking about the importance of social impact and what that looks like specifically for the 11375 family. Social impact for 11375 is not just something that we don't do. It's embedded in our DNA. It's a part of our business model. We think and believe that it's really important to combine the art of making money and also being able to connect those specific resources to communities or things that elevate and provide good for the greater good. So for us, it is important that for the success of each project that we include social impact.
I tried to stand tall, but I never stood a chance. How selfish of me to want them to see me as I am. I'm over this, man. I can see the envy from under the mask they're in. How could I expect a pat on the back in a place they wanted to stab me?
What are you talking about specifically?
Why do I wish temporary feelings could last again? Why does my future need me to refer to the past again? Naysayers checking in by the minute. It's eating up in my time. And then they always need me to paint a picture after I draw the line. I'm sorry. I drifted from the question.
No problem at all.
Therapy is new for me. I don't think I've ever had a conversation that I felt included me.
Well, that's why
it's like we define things that exist without meaning. But getting back to your question, you asked, what am I thinking?
Yes.
I think so freely as I stare at this ceiling. I think the poison replaced what's meant for healing. I think depression is on the other side of elevating. I think depression hides inside those that are celebrating.
I can see that.
I think the bars that we're rapping are building our own cage. I think my father never thought about me. And what do I feel? I think rage. I think everyone around me can hear what I'm thinking, so I never blink once or think twice about over drinking.
Let's calm down.
I think it's humble of me to say that I'm the greatest. I think so much of me, but I'm taught to never say it. I think my identity exists with multiple borders, but when they can't understand it, it's labeled a disorder.
I understand.
I think the media and my social life are at a point of no return. I think they're entitled to just people that never even learn to earn.
Mr.
calm down. I think truth, calm down, is one thing that I know. Let me ask you this question. If everything you think is true, how will you ever grow? I never thought about that. Probably for my own protection. It's funny how a view of yourself can be shattered by your own reflection.
Welcome to 11375. My name is Anita Pierce, and I am your Chief Experience Officer. At 11375, we offer strategic alignment solutions specific to you and your business goals, and also connecting everything with social impact. So if you are looking for a really amazing organization where we help you to focus your strategy and connecting it with social impact, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are on all the social platforms, and you can contact us at 11375.